Have you ever noticed how crossing the age of 80 feels both like a victory and a burden? Many people celebrate reaching that milestone, but few talk about what comes after. The truth is, for so many older adults, energy fades, legs feel weaker, memory slips, and a quiet loneliness settles in. It can feel as if the body is working against you, even when you've lived carefully and tried to do things right. But here's the shocking fact. Most people don't realize it isn't just age stealing their strength. It's four hidden forces silently shaping how well you live beyond 80. They affect your body, your mind, and even your heart in ways you may never have connected. By the time they become obvious, damage is already underway. The good news is awareness changes everything. Once you understand these hidden reasons, you can take gentle steps to protect your independence, your vitality, and your peace of mind. And it doesn't require perfection, just small, steady actions that give your later years more clarity, strength, and purpose. So stay with me. We're about to explore four quiet truths that could explain why many struggle after 80, and more importantly, how you can change the story for yourself. Before we begin, I'd love for you to take a moment. Tell us in the comments where you are watching from. And if you find value in messages like this, please subscribe so you never miss the wisdom and encouragement we share here. Now let's start with the first hidden reason. Reason one is something that rarely shows up in early blood tests or routine checkups, yet it quietly changes the course of aging. It is called silent inflammation. Doctors sometimes call it inflammaging because it builds slowly over the years, like a fire smoldering in the background. You may not see the flames, but the heat is damaging everything in its path. After the age of 80, the body's ability to control this hidden fire becomes weaker. What you could ignore at 50 or 60, like a poor night of sleep process, snacks, or long hours of sitting, can now tip the scale and create problems you didn't expect. Think about Margaret, who just turned 82. She never smoked, walked almost every day, and always tried to eat balanced meals. Yet she noticed her mornings were filled with stiffness. Her thoughts felt cloudy. Even small tasks made her tired. Doctors told her nothing was wrong in the usual sense. But when she saw a specialist, they found high levels of inflammatory markers quietly circulating in her body. It wasn't a big disease. It was a slow burn that had been chipping away at her resilience for years. This type of inflammation is not the redness or swelling you notice after a sprain or cut. It is deeper. It lives in your blood vessels, your joints, your brain, and your immune system. Left unchecked, it raises the risk of dementia, heart disease, frailty, and a faster decline in energy. Many older adults accept these changes as normal aging without knowing that silent inflammation is the invisible hand pulling the strings. The science behind it is simple. When the body is under stress from unhealthy food toxins in the environment or lack of deep rest, the immune system stays on alert. That constant state of low fire begins to harm healthy tissues instead of protecting them. Over time, the body feels weaker, not because it is old, but because it is exhausted from fighting a battle inside itself. The good news is that even after 80, this fire can be cooled. And the tools are often simple, gentle, and within reach. Whole foods filled with natural colors, berries, leafy greens, olive oil contain compounds that calm inflammation. A short daily walk improves circulation and helps your immune system settle down. A few minutes of calm breathing before bed reduces stress hormones that feed the fire. None of these actions erase inflammation overnight, but each small choice lowers the flame, giving your body space to heal. Margaret began adding cooked spinach and fresh berries to her meals. She traded processed snacks for a handful of nuts. She started a slow evening walk with her neighbor. Within weeks, she noticed her mornings felt lighter. Her mind was clearer. She didn't erase inflammation completely, but she lowered it enough to feel her strength returning. Have you ever experienced that kind of stiffness or fatigue that doctors can't fully explain? It might be your body's quiet signal that inflammation is at work. Type yes in the comments if this sounds familiar to you. As we close this first reason, remember, aging does not mean surrendering your energy. Inflammation may be silent, but it is not unbeatable. Each healthy choice you make is like pouring cool water on a hidden fire. You may not see the change immediately, but over time your body thanks you with clarity, steadiness, and strength. Now that we've uncovered this first quiet enemy, let's move to the second reason many people struggle after 80. It is something even more visible, yet often ignored until it causes a fall. Reason 2 is muscle loss. Doctors call it sarcopenia. It begins quietly after the age of 60, but after 80 it speeds up. At first you may not even notice it. The changes are small. Opening a jar feels harder. Standing from a chair takes more effort. Climbing stairs feels heavier than it used to. You might laugh it off saying, well, I'm just getting older. But muscle loss is more than weakness. It is a slow erosion of your independence. Let me share the story of Walter, age 85. He lived alone, full of energy, and always thought of himself as steady. One afternoon, while walking through his living room, he tripped over a rug. The fall broke his hip. Before that moment, he believed he still had the strength of his younger years. But the truth was, his muscles had been shrinking for years. The accident did not only injure his body, it shook his confidence. Suddenly, he needed a walker. Simple routines like grocery shopping or gardening became struggles. His world grew smaller. Why is muscle so important? Because it is more than strength. Muscles protect your balance. They cushion your joints. They keep your blood sugar stable. They support your heart. When you lose muscle, every system in your body feels the effect. And after a fall, the cycle becomes cruel. Weeks in bed lead to even more weakness. Weakness leads to less movement. Less movement leads to a faster decline. The science is clear. After 80, most people lose muscle at a rate that can reach 8% each decade. Without action, that loss can double your risk of falling. A single fall raises the chance of losing independence by more than 50%. Yet here is the hope. Muscle loss is not destiny. Even at 85 or 90, the body can build strength again. Walter's doctor suggested small steps, gentle daily walks, lifting light weights, even soup cans 2 or 3 times a week, adding protein-rich foods like beans, eggs, or salmon, stretching slowly each morning to keep joints flexible. Within months, Walter noticed change. His legs felt steadier. He stood taller. Most of all, his confidence began to return. He was not a bodybuilder. He did not need to be. He was simply strong enough to carry on with what mattered most. Think of your muscles as silent guardians. They keep you steady when you rise from bed. They give you the power to carry groceries. They let you kneel in your garden and stand back up again. They protect you from becoming fragile. Without them, independence slips away often faster than people expect. Have you ever noticed how much harder it feels to rise from a chair or lift something you once carried with ease? If that sounds familiar, type yes in the comments. I would love to know how you have experienced these small changes. Remember, regaining muscle does not require gyms or heavy training. Even a simple habit like standing up from a chair 10 times in a row can signal your body to grow stronger. Each step you take is like writing a quiet promise to your future self, a promise that you will not give up your freedom easily. So as we close this second reason, hold on to this truth. Your muscles are not just flesh. They are the framework of your independence. Protect them, feed them, move them, and they will carry you longer than you imagine. Now let's move to the third reason. It is not about movement or strength. It begins in the night when the body is supposed to heal, but often doesn't. Reason 3 is poor sleep. Many people shrug it off as normal with age. They say, of course I wake up 3 or 4 times a night. That's just how it is. But the truth is different. Sleep is not just rest. It is the body's repair shop. It is when your brain clears waste, when your cells rebuild, when your immune system resets. When that repair time is broken, the results slowly pile up. Let me tell you about Eleanor, age 87. She thought her sleep troubles were simply part of getting older. She went to bed tired, woke up tired, and carried that fatigue through the day. At first it was small things, forgetting where she placed her keys, feeling irritated more easily, catching a cold more often. But gradually she realized her memory was slipping. Her balance was worse. She felt like her spark was fading. When she finally spoke to her doctor, she learned that her shallow, fragmented sleep was robbing her body of the healing it needed. Science explains this clearly. Deep sleep is like a nightly cleaning crew. During that stage, the brain removes toxins linked to memory decline. The immune system strengthens. Muscles recover from the day's work. When sleep is cut short or broken into pieces, those processes stop midway. Imagine stopping a wash cycle before the rinse. Clothes look the same at first, but over time they carry residue. The same happens in the body. Research shows older adults who sleep poorly are more likely to face memory problems, low energy, and weaker immunity. In fact, one study found seniors with poor sleep were 30% more likely to experience faster cognitive decline. But here's the hopeful part. Even small changes to sleep habits can restore balance. Eleanor began with a few gentle adjustments. She kept a consistent bedtime even on weekends. She limited caffeine and alcohol in the afternoon. She opened her curtains each morning to welcome natural light. She made her bedroom cool, dark, and quiet, and she added a short daily walk to her routine. Slowly, her nights grew calmer. She still woke up sometimes, but her sleep became deeper. Within weeks, she noticed more energy, fewer colds, and a brighter mood. Her mind felt clearer. Practical steps can be simple. Try keeping screens out of the bedroom. Let your body wind down with soft music or light reading. Keep naps short and refreshing. These small choices help your body remember the rhythm of rest. Sleep does not have to be perfect, but making it a priority can change everything about how you feel at 80 and beyond. Have you ever had a stretch of nights where sleep felt shallow and the next day seemed harder in every way? If yes, type yes in the comments. Sharing your experience may help someone else realize they are not alone. Sleep is often overlooked because it feels passive, but it is active healing. Without it, your body ages faster. With it, you give yourself the chance to think clearly, walk steadily, and live with energy. Eleanor discovered that sleep was not a luxury. It was medicine. And the same is true for you. So as we close this third reason, hold on to this lesson. Protecting your sleep is like protecting your foundation. A strong night gives you a strong day, and those strong days add up to stronger years. Now let's turn to the fourth hidden reason. It is not about the body at all. It lives in the heart, and it may be the most surprising force of all. Reason 4 is loneliness and the loss of daily purpose. It may sound gentle compared to disease or injury, but research shows it can shorten life as much as chronic illness. Loneliness is not just sadness in the heart. It is stress in the body. It changes brain chemistry. It weakens the immune system. It makes every day feel heavier than it truly is. Let me share the story of Harold, age 89. 5 years ago, his wife passed away. His children live across the country, busy with their own families. Each morning, he makes breakfast, waters the plants, and then sits quietly with the television for company. Days go by when he speaks to no one at all. He told a neighbor once, "What I miss most is not the noise. It's feeling needed. It's feeling like someone is waiting for me." That quiet ache is more than emotional. Science shows that older adults who feel socially isolated face a 29% higher risk of heart disease and a 32% higher risk of stroke. The body registers loneliness as danger. Stress hormones rise. Sleep becomes shallow. Energy drains away. Without purpose, even strong muscles and healthy diets lose some of their power. But here's the truth. Purpose does not need to be grand. It does not have to mean a full career or a crowded calendar. It can be as small as feeding the birds at the window, calling a friend each morning, writing notes to grandchildren, helping a neighbor with groceries. The human heart thrives not just on being loved, but on being needed. Harold's story took a turn when he joined a small community gardening group. At first, he doubted himself. His hands were stiff, his legs were weak, but the simple act of tending soil alongside others gave him rhythm. People looked for him, plants depended on him, and in return, he felt life coming back into his days. His doctor noticed his blood pressure improved, his mood lifted. He even slept better. Loneliness is not the same as solitude. Solitude can be chosen and can be peaceful. Loneliness is the feeling of being invisible, the feeling that your presence no longer matters. That is the danger, because when a person feels invisible, the body responds as if life itself is fading. If you are over 80 or if you know someone who has asked this simple question, what brings you purpose right now? And how can you protect that purpose like medicine? Because in many ways it is medicine. A walk with a neighbor is as healing as a pill. A shared meal can be as strengthening as any supplement. A phone call can be as life-giving as an exercise routine. Have you ever felt the weight of loneliness or the joy of finding new purpose later in life? Type yes in the comments if this speaks to you. Your story might encourage someone else who is quietly struggling. So as we close this fourth reason, remember, the heart is just as important as the body. When you keep connection alive and give yourself a reason to rise each morning, you are protecting not only your spirit, but also your health. Now that we have uncovered all four reasons, let's bring them together and reflect on what they mean for living well beyond 80. Living beyond 80 is a remarkable gift, but it is not just about the number of years. It is about the quality of those years. The truth is many people reach that age feeling weaker, lonelier, or more fragile than they expected. Not because they did not care for themselves, but because these four hidden forces, silent inflammation, muscle loss, poor sleep, and loneliness, were slowly shaping their lives without notice. Now you know the truth, and with truth comes power. Awareness is the first medicine. You do not need to fight aging with fear. You can face it with clarity and gentle strength. You can protect your independence, your energy, and your peace of mind. Think of it this way. Every small action is a seed. Eating whole foods cools the fire of inflammation. Moving your body each day protects the muscle that guards your freedom. Caring for your sleep restores your mind and keeps your immune system strong. And nurturing connection, even through the smallest acts, gives your heart a reason to keep beating with joy. You do not need to change everything at once. Start with one choice today. One walk, one phone call, one healthier meal. These are not small. They are sacred moments of care that build into years of strength. So let me ask you, which of the four reasons spoke to you the most? Was it the hidden fire of inflammation, the quiet shrinking of muscle, the fragile balance of sleep, or the deep need for connection? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your words may inspire someone else to take their first step. If you found this message meaningful, I invite you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone you love. Your support helps us continue bringing hope, knowledge, and encouragement to people like you. And remember this, your legs are not just limbs. They are your freedom. Your heart is not just an organ. It is your purpose. And your years are not just time. They are your story. Live them with wisdom, live them with strength, and never settle for less. Thank you for being here. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.